Good Saturday morning, South Florida. I'm Courtney Barnett. Thank you for joining us. It is 9 o'clock, and here's what we're working on right now. The man representing hundreds of BSO deputies is suspended after disagreements over personal protective equipment. This morning, the departments in our area are taking some new steps to keep officers safe. And officers will be stepping up enforcements of those mask mandates in Miami-Dade and Broward counties. What could happen to people and businesses who do not cover up? And South Florida steps up to help those in need during these difficult times, detailed on the food distributions happening today.
This is CBS 4 News This Morning.
It is 9 o'clock on Saturday, April 11th. Thank you for joining us. I'm Courtney Barnett. Well, with the constant bombardment of grim news lately, we want to begin this morning with a victory against coronavirus. Some positive news. This is staff at Westside Regional Medical Center cheering as a recovered patient leaves the hospital. Look at that support. Now, for those looking, there are glimmers of hope this morning despite more troubling developments, and we begin with a look at the numbers. So here in Florida, nearly 18,000 people have tested positive. More than 400 people have died, and South Florida remains the state's hotspot. There are more than 2,600 cases in Broward County, and 72 people have died there. In Miami-Dade, 6,300 people have tested positive. More than 80 have died, and Monroe County has more than 50 cases as well as 3 deaths. Now, around the world, the death toll has passed 100,000 people, including nearly 800 people in New York in just a single day. But there is good news. The number of people hospitalized in New York is slowing. Back here at home, Governor DeSantis says Hard Rock Stadium will be one of 3 sites statewide that will test anyone with symptoms or who has come in contact with someone with the virus. Also this morning, the president of the union representing Broward Sheriff's deputies says he's been suspended. Jeff Bell had been fighting with BSO over personal protective equipment to keep deputies safe. Broward Sheriff's deputy Shannon Bennett died from COVID-19 last week. In a statement, Bell's attorney says, quote, "The suspension of a police union president who was advocating for the safety of his deputies is shameful and reprehensible. This is a clear violation of state and federal law." He goes on to say, quote, "Deputies across this country are falling ill and losing their lives, all in the name of keeping us safe." It was Jeff Bell's job as union president to voice his concerns for their safety, and he was suspended for doing his job, end quote. CBS 4 has reached out to BSO for more, and we are waiting to hear back. BSO says it's monitoring roughly 225 employees to see if they were exposed to the virus. Well, there's no working from home for officers or sheriff's deputies, and that means that gloves and masks are becoming just as important as guns and bulletproof vests. CBS 4's Ty Russell has more on the efforts to make sure the people keeping us safe stay safe themselves.
11 City of Miami police officers have coronavirus.
CBS 4 This Morning.
Out of the officers who have tested positive in the city of Miami, 9 are still in quarantine. Again, BSO says it's monitoring more than 220 employees. And this morning, there are calls to release inmates from the Broward County Jail because of coronavirus concerns.
You have not been forgotten. Free them all.
24 cars took part in a mobile protest in front of the Broward State Attorney's Office and the jail. At least 1 inmate has died from COVID-19, and at least 8 more have tested positive. The state attorney's office says it's already releasing inmates and holding daily emergency hearings, but some people say that's not enough.
We've been basically reviewing the cases of 50 to 60 people a night, and most of those have been released, and that's, a significant number.
The Broward Sheriff's Office says it's reduced the population in the jail by more than 460 people over the last month. Officers and deputies are also reducing the number of arrests. Well, happening now, Miami-Dade County says it will shut down some businesses that do not make customers or employees wear face coverings. The mayor's most recent executive order requires those coverings for people who are visiting or working in grocery stores, restaurants, pharmacies, construction sites, and public transit where social distancing is not possible. Those places were given warnings yesterday. And Miami-Dade County is also giving an update on unemployment. Mayor Jimenez says the county is working with the state to process nearly 50,000 applications.
In the first 2 days of this new service, people picked up more than 46,000 forms, and nearly 8,000 benefit applications have been returned to our libraries in sealed envelopes that keeps people's information secure. We're partnering with
Mayor Jimenez says those applications will be delivered overnight to the state each night. And with much of our economy ground to a halt, we are seeing the financial hardship of so many of our friends and neighbors experience every day. As CBS 4's Mike Cunio shows us, free food distributions are jammed with people hoping for a little help.
It's beautiful to see how the church is one of the first responders always in times of crisis, and that's what God has called us to do, especially in this Easter week. We're here to serve our community.
Today, there are several more food distributions around our area. Feeding South Florida plans to give food to about 1,500 families, along with City of Miami Commissioner Manolo Reyes. That's going to happen at the Magic City Casino starting in less than an hour now at 10 this morning. And Feeding South Florida is holding another drive this morning, this one in Miramar. That started about 10 minutes ago at 9 o'clock at Miramar Regional Park, and that's going to go on until 11. And we have a list of more resources on our website, cbsmiami.com. And more help for people who need it. The Miami-Dade Homeless Trust is moving the elderly out of shelters and off the streets and into hotels and assisted living facilities. 165 homeless people, like 66-year-old George Kilpatrick, are being helped. He was moved from the Chapman North facility in Miami, where a staff member tested positive.
I feel real good about that because, you know, when you get older, you think people be done forgot about you. My concerns right now is, you know, trying to make it out here and not catch this virus.
Talking about saving lives of elderly individuals who no one else takes care of.
At least 2 other sites are also being used. No word yet if they're going to expand this program. And many more people and small businesses who need help are getting it this morning. That's some good news there. We'll focus on them in our next half hour, including showing you how Florida International University is offering some hospitality help for nearly 150 local restaurants. And if you're in need of inspiration, we've got that for you. Meet the 99-year-old man who just beat coronavirus. Welcome back. This morning, the U.S. now has more than 500,000 confirmed coronavirus cases, and 18,000 people have died. But there are glimmers of hope this morning. CBS 4's Michael George has the latest from New York, where the number of cases appears to be leveling off.
President Trump says it appears the coronavirus death toll in the U.S. will be lower than projected. CBS News, New York.
Albert Chambers survived the Great Depression. He fought in World War II. He was injured in a bomb blast in North Africa, and he stayed strong during 3 years as a prisoner of war of the Nazis. Well, this morning, he adds coronavirus to the list of things that simply are not strong enough to beat him. He was released Thursday from a hospital in England. Chambers turns 100 years old in July. And now we're going to send it over to meteorologist Jennifer Correa. Remember, she is working from home this morning, so we're having a little trouble getting her picture up, but we can hear her. So, Jennifer, what can we expect today?
Hi, Carly. Well, we can expect temperatures to be a tad cooler. Why?
Jennifer, thank you. It's time now for Miami Proud. It's a chance to highlight people and organizations inspiring greatness and pride. A few talented young artists recently got to work with a Miami-based artist. It's an experience made possible through the Orion and Phil Collins The Little Dreams Foundation. CBS 4's Rudabeh Shabazi has more. Welcome back, 9:25. Now it's going to be a much different Easter tomorrow with social distancing and virtual worship replacing traditional church services. But as CBS 4's Laura Podesta shows us, some congregations may push back.
Easter Sunday celebrates the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
This is CBS 4 News This Morning.
Good Saturday morning, South Florida. I'm Carly Barnett. Thank you for joining us. It's 9:30. In this half hour, we're taking a look at the coronavirus and the economy here in South Florida. So restaurants are among the small businesses reeling during this pandemic. But this morning, Florida International University is coming to the rescue with some hospitality help. And many of those businesses are applying for federal support, but they're struggling to do so. Advice from an expert on how to get the help you need. And as many people are filing for unemployment for the first time in their lives, we want to help. In our new series, we will tell you which companies are now hiring right now. But first, this morning, we're going to send it over to meteorologist Jennifer Correa. We are glad to have her joining us from her home studio. So, Jen, a little bit of a change coming our way, but not much.
Not much. I mean, it is a change. It's a change in the wind because, Carly, we've been dealing with a west wind the past 3 days.
Our coverage of the coronavirus pandemic continues now with another sign of hope that we will get through this. That's Dariella and Carlos leaving West Kendall Baptist Hospital yesterday. They had tested positive and were admitted the same day, but now they were being cheered on together as they headed home. For those looking, there are glimmers of hope this morning, but we do begin with a look at the numbers. Here in Florida, nearly 18,000 people have tested positive. More than 400 people have died. And South Florida remains the state's hotspot. There are more than 2,600 cases in Broward County. 72 people there have died. In Miami-Dade, 6,300 people have tested positive and more than 80 have died. In Monroe County, they have more than 50 cases and 3 deaths. Well, this morning, a majority of South Florida's hardest hit businesses are struggling to keep employees, but they are getting some needed help. Despite applying for federal and state funds, most have yet to see any money. But Florida International University is changing that for more than 150 locally owned and operated restaurants. CBS 4's David Sutta shows us how.
Oh, the food's the best in town, and I'm just glad to be able to support them and through these tough times.
Well, as we mentioned, small businesses have been tossed a lifeline, but it's a partnership between the government and commercial banks, and getting that money might not be easy. So as CBS 4 found out, many businesses are having trouble filling out the paperwork for the federal government's Payroll Protection Act.
The businesses that are resource challenged, they're wondering what they can do right now to not only put together the paperwork that's necessary, but to try to process their application, to try to find institutions that are willing to process them.
There are an estimated 30 million small businesses in the U.S., but only about 200,000 have applied so far. We have more information on how to do that on our website, cbsmiami.com. Well, the Treasury Department is trying to further ease the minds of taxpayers. The April 15th deadline to file your taxes is, of course, already extended. Now the department is extending more than 300 other deadlines. Tax returns and payments for tax-exempt organizations due between April and June are now postponed until July 15th. Estate taxes are also now postponed until that date. Google is stepping in to help with the overwhelming number of unemployment claims. The tech giant created an application portal designed to handle a lot of users, allowing them to save their work and then pick it up later. The service is already launched in New York State, and others could follow soon. 9:37 now. We know many of you are out of work during this challenging time, and we want to help. That is why we're launching a new series called Now Hiring. To start this morning, CBS 4's Lauren Pastrana shows us which industries are hiring and how you can stand out.
And right now, there's an unprecedented amount of people who are unfortunately out of work.
And that was Lauren Pastrana reporting. It also helps to tailor your resume to the specific job posting. But if you don't have experience in that particular field, be sure to highlight what characteristics you have that could translate to a completely different job. And with tens of thousands of families unemployed, many are struggling to put food on the table every day. Miami-Dade School Superintendent Alberto Carvalho and a group of volunteers spent the day in Miami distributing food. And now restaurants around town are stepping in. They're donating meals with a little help from volunteer groups. The superintendent says he's going to ensure that no one goes hungry.
What we're trying to do is ensuring that no child, no family goes hungry during this crisis. And that's because there are a lot of families in our community. Even before the COVID-19 crisis, they were already in a state of emergency.
The superintendent and volunteers are expected to continue distributing hot meals through the weekend. And again, we have more on those distributions planned around our area today on our website. And because of shortages of medical supplies and disinfectants, one South Florida-based company is doing what it can to give back. Miami Club Rum, a company most known for their drinks, is shifting gears, making their very own Miami Strong hand sanitizer. The company's founder says it started this after seeing the urgent need to protect his family, friends, and community.
It just seemed like a logical thing to do. We manufacture alcohol, and that's the base of hand sanitizer. So it was like, woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and said, we're going to do this.
Miami Club Rum will be giving away 10% of their production to healthcare providers, first responders, hospitals, and families in need. And the Miami Heat, they're helping out too. They've joined other teams in donating apparel to help control the outbreak. The team donated $100,000 in unsold jerseys to be made into 7,000 masks. They will be given to local medical facilities in need. We still have much more ahead on CBS 4 this Saturday morning, including this.
I'm Lisa Petrillo. There's some great workouts on social media that can keep you fit and are free. That story coming up in our Safe at Home report on CBS 4 News.
Welcome back. This morning we are helping you stay safe at home. And while many of us are working remotely, many more are working out remotely. Now the gyms and fitness studios are closed. CBS 4's Lisa Petrillo shows us some ways to stay in shape while staying away from other people.
Whether you prefer planking over push-ups, the beauty of ballet versus crushing cardio, there's something to keep you moving during this pandemic. CBS 4 News.
Keeping your mind healthy and your body healthy. I like that. Well, Jennifer, if we do want to do an at-home workout today, we really can't use the heat outside as an excuse because we have the air conditioning right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's, I guess, no better way or better reason to why you want to stay inside is because of the heat. Yesterday, third day in a row, the high broke the record in Miami. Today, we're getting close to 90 again.
Jennifer, thank you. Well, still ahead on CBS 4 this Saturday morning, it's time to say thank you for your service because there's a hero among us. He's World War II veteran Albert Weintraub, and his story is worthy of a standing ovation. We meet him next. And don't you love that sound in the morning? Something to end on a high note. That is thanks to a member of our CBS 4 team. We will listen in just a bit. CBS 4 this Saturday morning. We'll be right back. Every week in partnership with the Florida Panthers, we put the spotlight on a hero among us, men or women who have gone beyond the call of duty for our country. And this morning, Maribel Rodriguez introduces us to United States Army World War II veteran Albert Weintraub.
Albert Weintraub was drafted in 1943 and was part of a new division of the Engineering Corps. CBS 4 News.
And CBS 4 this Saturday morning is coming right back. But first, here are your winning lottery numbers. Good luck. That does it for CBS 4 this Saturday morning. We thank you for joining us. We will bring you a news conference from Governor Ron DeSantis in just a few minutes from now, and we hope you'll join us tonight at 6, 7, and 11. But until then, we have a little diversion courtesy of CBS 4 photojournalist Rafael Murciano. Have a safe Saturday, everybody.